Hey everybody, and welcome back to Ready Steady Play, where we're just going to run through our final thoughts on Food Chain Magnate.
And because we've been doing a fast game, we thought we'd do a fast final thoughts.
We're going to try and keep it fast.
Wait. On the clock.
Was it 15 minutes?
Too stressful.
No. Give him 38 seconds. Go.
Go. Timer's on.
Quick, Michael, thoughts?
I like it.
I like it. Next game.
I love the fact I got away with not paying anyone a salary for ages. That is completely corrupt, and I almost feel reassured that I didn't win on that alone.
I like how linked to that, Ollie. I tell you what I like. I like how the milestones make and break this game, and I like how they were
powerful.
They
very
really
even.
define your strategy.
They do, and I like how they're even because Ollie was able to get milestones that that I didn't get that you could get, and then I got milestones that you got that Ollie didn't, and then we got milestones that you particularly didn't get. So it's not like you were penalised.
I felt a little bit penalised for not getting that waitress.
But you have to think, the waitress one. Yeah, that was strong, but then again, if you think about it, at the end of the game, I had 16 people in my company, which means the game was 15 turns.
And also, that basically saved me for the first 5.
Yeah, that saved you so much money.
So you didn't have to pay as much. So we then had to be a lot more careful with how we built our company, making sure that I didn't overspend.
Yeah, although I mean, like that first to $100 CFO. That free CFO,
huge, yeah.
Because
it's not just
the card; it's the fact you don't have to put anyone down.
Yeah, exactly. You automatically have a CFO in your structure every round.
Yes.
It's huge.
But then I think I couldn't. I'm going back to our game just very quickly. But then as soon as I got it, I then couldn't really utilize it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was because we were so panicked about you having it.
Yeah.
I was working really hard. To be honest, I spent most of the second half of this game really stressed out about your CFO and your fridge.
Yeah.
Because your fridge allowed you to really sort of react to what I was doing.
Yeah.
And I built the lemonade thing, and I just had to kind of hope that
I'd run out of lemonade.
That the game would end before you got the Zeppelin pilot to circumvent the lemonade problem.
Yep. And you were also going all the time, Zeppelin. You were even encouraging it.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm like at the end of the day, it's supposed to be fun, you know.
I should have done that a turn before I did because we was just sitting there not getting used, and but
I should have got the local manager way earlier.
Yeah, but the thing I find funny is, and then this was really fun with the mechanic. Everyone's worth the same amount, so once you're paying for them, there's no reason not to upgrade them.
Yes.
Yeah, once you're paying for them, not training them is silly.
It's silly.
And I was really hamstrung by that. I spent the first half of the game really worried that I hadn't invested enough in hiring and training.
I invested entirely in hiring and training and not paying.
But obviously there's sort of two halves to the game, right? There is the structure of your company and managing the people in the company and the salaries. And then the second half is managing the impact on the board, and obviously the important factors here are the advertising and the layout of the board, and then making sure you have the supply for the demand. And obviously all of this is informed by the structuring at the start. Yeah. Yeah. I honestly did not feel like our 1 minute time limit really impacted my enjoyment of the game, because I've played this before where we've spent hours planning our company, and in the end it's kind of just...
So I don't know if you're thinking that because you didn't have as many cards to pick.
Maybe.
It impacted me. Maybe I totally didn't think that having a time limit was a bad thing.
Yeah.
But maybe...
We all knew it would be there.
There were a couple of times.
But I think if it had been... Because we tried to do a minute and a half, to be fair, and I think that extra 30 seconds would have benefited me so much more because of the silly mistakes that I did, just having that 30 seconds. Just because my business was a lot bigger.
Yeah.
But I think the whole idea of putting
a time limit on it
is actually a really good idea. But so by saying it didn't impact your enjoyment of the game might be true for you, but I think it impacted me a little bit because I did. It was about 3 moves that I couldn't.
So when I say
properly.
impact my enjoyment, okay, so because I made a silly mistake as well, where I should have I deliberately bought a manager to upgrade to the local guy so I could sell to these people. And I accidentally put that person in my company, which is the exact same mistake you made, despite having a much smaller company. What I meant by impact my enjoyment was that there's a certain amount of sort of fun that comes from working out the structure of your company and who you're going to put in there to determine what actions you're going to take. But I didn't feel like having to do that under pressure actually removed my enjoyment of doing it.
Yeah, to be honest, once I'd found the groupings I needed, it was a lot easier to plan the company.
I found it very stressful.
But I think you should have maybe thought about firing more people during the pay step.
We didn't fire anyone, did we?
No, I should have done, really.
You could have just left half of them in a sort of a pile of beach cards that you just never look at again.
Yeah.
I mean, because that's the thing. Like, once I had management trainee, senior VP.
But it's always more difficult when you're filming a show as well.
Yeah. But
it just I just grouped them down into those two, those are him, and then this is my extra one. And
and I was very much thinking in terms of, I can have 8 people in this company,
and I think
with this management.
And I felt like, I think having the timer enhanced. I know it didn't go again. I'm gonna go with you now on this point. I think
you're allowed to change mine.
I think having the timer enhanced my enjoyment of the game because I wasn't waiting hours and hours and hours for you. Say if I was really quick and I needed to know my business structure and I'm on it in a minute, I'm not having to wait hours for you two to go, oh God, what's he doing? I'm being here 5 minutes, and he's like, ugh.
And then, to be honest, if there wasn't a time limit, that'd probably be the time if we're not filming and just playing for fun, that they go, I'm going to go and get something from the bar, or I'm going to get some food.
So I think that actually enhanced it, having that time in that aspect.
I think there could easily have been a lot of waiting around and sort of analysis paralysis if you didn't have the timer.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
But having said that, I think that there were some elements of the game we didn't utilize. Obviously, we focused really hard on the 5 houses on the board, and we didn't develop any new houses or gardens.
To be honest...
Sorry, Ollie.
I don't think we sort of realised how good local investment was. I mean, it took me ages to get a regional manager, and I could have had him ages ago.
Yeah. Well, and I, partly being silly, but partly thinking about it as a strategy, I wanted to build a house here. I wanted to build a house here. I could have built a garden next to here.
Yeah.
That would have been huge.
And I wanted to, and I was like, oh, brilliant. I can do an advertising campaign here that does that 3, build a garden there. I'm now laughing
then Ollie
because,
showed up.
And then that is doubled, and then I've got my CEO, and I'm like, boom, I'm in it.
Yeah.
And then Ollie had to come with the bloody lemonade.
Yeah, so the thing about and the thing is, the game is sort of designed in such a way that it takes you a while to realize these plans, and in a way you have to telegraph them. You can't really do anything in secret. Because everything sort of takes a turn or two to be realized.
Yeah.
But you can also set it up in such a way that you make so much money you could make no money the whole game and just make all of your money in the last turn of the game and have such a mammoth successful turn that you win the game based solely on that one turn's income.
Yeah.
Because if you build these gardens, which we didn't build any, but you can see them here. We have them. So this is a house you can make. They automatically come with gardens if you do that. Or you can add gardens to houses that are already on the board. And any house who's buying your goods with a garden, not only do they have a demand limit of 5 instead of 3, but they also pay double for everything.
Yeah.
So you can create a combo where you're selling things to people with gardens.
I should have put that garden
with the luxuries manager making $30 per good. That's insane.
Yeah. And if you got the CFO, that's $45 for
per good.
I could have.
Imagine one house could make you almost $200.
I could have wiped the floor.
You could have wiped the floor. In fact, one house with 5 demand in it, if you could cater to all that
basically ending the
with
game.
the luxury manager, would be 5 times 45.
Yeah.
Which is like
90, 180.
225?
225.
That's insane. That's game winning right there.
Yeah, that's essentially. If we're not in the, because you'd be in the reserve by the time
that doesn't include the CFO. If you had the CFO, then that's 100. That's 330, 40 something, 347 or something. That's insane.
So yeah,
37.50.
It's
round up.
And I like how flippy that can be. So
yeah, so
you two were thinking, blimey, he's winning.
Well, you had the CFO early on.
In all honesty, I had a feeling that Mike was probably winning because I knew how much money had gone from the bank, and I thought it's one of you two because I know it's not me. And Mike is good at hiding what he's got. He's the only one whose money wasn't on the table.
But it was right here.
It was right there,
the
but
whole time.
it wasn't any more hidden.
In fact,
than
every time I said we should announce it, we did.
Yeah. Did you say that? I didn't actually hear. I can't remember hearing.
Twice we did a sort of an announcement of how much we'd made.
I thought you would have been more on the ball because I was with how these were going, because it was like
but the thing was I had no advertising presence, and the second he started undercutting me, the only thing I could do was that. Yeah, because I had to get past the -2.
But what I mean is, you knew he was getting the money from even if he was undercutting you, you knew he was getting the money. Therefore, he must have had all the money rather than me, because I wasn't getting.
Oh no, yeah, but every time I would $42.
Point out that each turn I was taking in around $80. Which
was 80 more than me.
Well, that's true, but that's also actually, in the grand scheme of this game, very little.
Yeah.
So
it's just you managed to do it for so long.
Yeah, it's because I kept it up for so long.
Yes.
And you guys couldn't sort of get ahead of it. And what happened was that one or two, like, the thing is, if the game had gone on like one or two more turns, I would have certainly lost.
Yeah. Well, I think, yes, because I think Ollie would have managed to capitalise on it. Because what I think happened is, you two were both concerned, because I took
Who
that
put the
early
100
lead.
in?
Me.
There you go.
And you were the one that needed the turns.
Yeah, I needed the turn.
But what
I mean stomped you after that.
What I mean is...
CFO and all the extra revenue.
I think you were I couldn't then capitalise... Well, one, the silly mistakes, which is my fault. But two... I think you both were concerned about me so I then couldn't get, if I didn't have you like sort of like getting me with the lemonade, I then had Ollie with the business, so I felt like I couldn't then get anywhere.
Well, and sort of to put a sort of an actual like sort of assessment on what we're talking about here, it's a vicious game.
Yes,
and it's got it's a game of really competitive economics, and it's hard to assess all of the different factors that are informing things at any given moment. And it's very easy for sort of people to sort of creep up. And I mean, I don't know about you guys, but the minute I saw that $500 reserve, I'm like, that is below average.
Yeah, but you saw that on turn 2. I didn't see it until it happened.
300 to 900.
Yeah.
So 500 is actually below halfway. So I reckon it's going to be a fairly short game. So if I start bloating my company and investing in all these massive cards, I'm probably not going to have a huge amount of time to make use of them.
Mm-hmm.
So I think my plan was a little too short-sighted, and I did start to panic towards the end about not having this ability to grow and keep up with you guys. But I was just kind of really banking on the game ending before you guys had a chance to really bring your weight to bear.
To be honest, thinking back on it, if I'd not taken that off of Michael and gone there, because that was only one lemonade and I had one left, I'd have taken that and taken one of them from you, and that probably wouldn't have made a difference to the final, but that would have been a better decision to make, not knowing how close the game was.
I was really pleased when you went there.
Yeah.
Well, I think the game might have been a lot closer, because you wouldn't have... Well, maybe not a lot closer. I think you would have won.
It would have been closer, but
I think
not
I would
knowing...
have had more money there, you would have had more money here, you would have had less money here, so it might have balanced it out a bit.
The thing is that it wouldn't... He would have still won. He would have won by less, and not knowing when the game was going to end, that was probably the better tactical decision.
But the thing is as well, like, I'm not hugely...
That's how it goes.
I mean, it's sort of... This is, to a degree, a hand management game, an action selection game, with a really sort of complex economic system informing your decisions.
Yeah.
And all of these things are not things I would say that get me super excited. Well, actually, that's a total lie. I love this kind of stuff. But what I mean is, it's not stuff that I think would be easy to sell necessarily, but the way all of this fits together and the way it pits the players against each other so mercilessly really just makes this game such a good game for me. I really like the player interaction. I really like how every decision is really important. I really like how you really have to be sort of planning ahead and worrying about right now and thinking about all these different factors. This is one of my all-time favorite games.
I have to say as well, these bonuses, they can make or break a strategy.
Definitely.
But it's not irreversible. Like if you go, I didn't get that one, because there was a lot of ones I didn't get because I didn't play something the turn you guys did, and I thought, crap, that's left me really poorly off. Yeah. And it didn't. I mean, I actually came out pretty well for that. Yeah. So
sorry, Ollie.
I was just because it's a really good. It's a balancer, but it's also an amazing multiplier. You guys having that marketing bonus of plus $5 for everything.
Oh, that's huge.
In the start, I was petrified by that.
Well,
because I felt I could never make up the difference.
Yeah.
And
I just go back to what Mike was saying. I'm not a fan of these games. I find it really difficult because I tell a lie. I like Euros, and I like having my own little system that I can build out and my own little strategy, and I like interacting. What I hate is the being like mercenary.
The sort of the viciousness. That's the word I use to sort of describe these games that really pit players against one another.
So in that respect, I actually for the game itself, it's probably not a game that is in my favourite, but of the style of game that it is, with pitting players, it's probably one of my favourite of this type. Definitely. And I don't have any qualms with with playing it. I would definitely play it again. I quite like it. I think the art's a bit poor. But
the art on the board is shocking. The art on the cards is great. The art on everything else is great. The art on the board is
amazing. Board shocking. But I like this game and I would definitely play it again.
Yeah, the one thing I would say on this that is a bit weird is there seems to be elements of it that will never come out in a small game, like that bridge. I don't know if that's the only one in there or we just saw it twice when we were putting the board out, but
no, there's more than one.
It seems like areas like that and things like that would work a lot better on a larger game, and in a smaller game, probably not so much.
Maybe.
But
the board layout is very weird for this kind of game, which is so realistic. But honestly, like, I think the way it sort of sections the board off, the thing is, the layout of this board is so key.
Yeah.
This huge section here, Michael, you never put a mailbox down there, but you could put a mailbox in any of these spaces, influence both those houses and any other houses built in this section. And being able to recognize those sort of things is a huge component to doing well at this game specifically. Yeah. But yeah, the actual artwork is pretty shocking.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a shame, really, because I love the cheesiness on the cards.
The card art is great.
Yeah, it's just so funny, and especially everything seems to be tongue in cheek, and it's a bit.
I love all
down.
these tokens as well.
Yeah.
Now I'm trying to remember how much the game retails for. I can't for the life of me remember. I think it's £60 or £70.
That's pretty decent. I mean,
but you get a lot. You get a lot
of
cards. It's full color. You get so many wooden tokens.
Yeah.
That doesn't come with the concertina. Yeah. It doesn't come with these bits here, but they are on the back of the menu. Anyway, you have to order the game directly from the company that make it. Splotter. I think I wouldn't be surprised if you saw it for sale at a few more outlets now, but you pretty much have to get it directly from Splotter. So I think that pretty much wraps it up. I would put it in my collection. I think it's unique and interesting enough to have and own.
Yes.
And it is a lot of fun to play. Even with speed runs.
Yeah. Especially with speedruns, actually.
I think it's better.
Certainly recommend the timer option. Maybe not in your first game, but
maybe not. I approve of speedruns. I don't approve of 1 minute. I approve. No.
90 seconds. I'm never going below 90 seconds.
90 seconds. Give me 90 seconds or give me death. Wait.
Oh, wait a minute.
90
That's
seconds.
lose.
Give me 90 seconds.
Cool. Well, thank you for coming on this journey with us, guys. It's been a bit different, but I'm glad we managed to get a table to the game that's game to the table with a sort of a slightly different theme to maybe what we normally see or what you see on the mainstream. And thanks, for coming on this journey. And we'll see you tomorrow for an entirely different journey. Yeah. So make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss it.
Yeah.
See ya.
See you soon, guys. Bye.